took 30 minutes to figure out, huh? That's what happens when your host forgets his own show and then has internet problems. So we're here, and we're gonna get into.
That should have been a YouTube show. We should have been recording that whole time.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't record when you don't have internet, so didn't have internet. All right, so we're gonna get into it. Part 1 and 2 of season 4 of Stranger Things. Just after this. All right. Well, look, we're back. We're live. It's been a while. Last couple of videos I had to do, I did on my own. I did them quick. And I'm probably like shit because I was flustered and stuttering. I just felt it was just so weird. I don't know. I said it on my stream. It's just weird when I'm by myself and I'm recording. Got nothing in the chat. Got no one to talk to or feed off of. So most of the times I'm literally just like a babbling idiot. Forgetting what I'm about to say, which I'm probably going to do anyway. But all right, let's talk about it. Let's it's been out for a while. Finally, I mean, it only took 3 years to get this season, right? And each episode was about 15 hours long, give or take. No. Look, it literally took me 4 years to watch this series. It was great. I think what their intentions was like we're going to make it long enough where once you're done, it's going to lead right into season 5. Once you're done with the series, they're in their 40s. All right, I'll go first. I still think my favorite season is the first season. This is probably my second favorite, and that's because of the horror elements. I think the story was great. The way they did actually tie Vecna in to the beginning, his obsession with spiders, and it sort of mimics, I guess, I don't know if that was their intention when we first seen the Mind Flayer or whatever it is and the design of it. But if that's what they want to say now, then that's fine because it does resemble a spider. So that's kind of a good explanation of where he's been. He's been gaining strength this whole time, but he's also been there this whole time too, just waiting. So I do like that. My issue though, with the series, and it's not my favorite, and I hate it because everybody's just like, oh, this season was epic, the finale was epic, and although I did enjoy the finale, don't get me wrong, I mean, come on, it's 2.5 hours long. It was an epic finale. What I loved about the finale was how each group was doing everything simultaneously. So I loved that, Hopper and why am I blanking? Which one Winona Ryder's not Judith. Joyce. I knew it started with J. Hopper and Joyce and Russian guy doing his thing. And then, of course, obviously the kids, but they're all doing it in groups. One group's in the Upside Down. One of them's in whatever. I loved it. But my issue with most of the series, though, too, was my issue with most things, especially It. It Chapter 2. I didn't like It Chapter 2 because we were dealing with like the grown-up version of what the kids we had in It Chapter 1. And I'm not saying they're not grown up, obviously, but they're not the little kids that we remember from season 1, season 2, and especially season 3, because that was 3 years ago. So I don't know if it was the hiatus of 3 years that kind of threw me off a little bit, but I didn't feel like they were conjoined together as usual. I don't like the fact that they separated Steve and Dustin. I didn't like that, although Eddie took his place well. And we did grow to love the character of Eddie, and I actually, I teared up a little bit when Eddie died, and and you felt it. You did really feel for that character. So Eddie did become my favorite of the newer characters that we were introduced to. But like even like Lucas's character, although towards the end, he started fighting for Max, and he had that huge fight with that one of the basketball kids. But I feel like they didn't really have some things they didn't know what to do with these certain characters, and fucking Jonathan Byers, man, what the fuck happened to him? They just literally like said, you know what? You're just going to smoke a hell of a lot of weed this season and literally be like a side character. Maybe have your moment to shine talking to your brother. I'm like, Nancy, you better leave this fuck for Steve. You better get with Steve. And I know you don't like, you having problems with Nancy?
I have problems with Nancy.
I know. But I'm like, yo, but it's just whatever. Hold on a second. We got Listen to Jim. What's up, Joe and Kitty? Loved how all the groups were. Look at this. See, great minds think alike, Jim. Working together without being together. The bike riding scene was really cool. One group in the upside down. Yeah, no, I said the same exact thing. That was one of my favorite parts and one of the highlights for the finale for me. But there were a couple of things that I just didn't like. You know, Vecna was a very good villain. Probably one of the better villains I had because he had that, you know, more of a human element. But a lot of the things he was doing was not just calculated, but very slow. Like, stop telling them what you're going to do and just fucking do it. Like, that 2.5 hour finale, he probably could have fucking did what he needed to do and just killed them all. But he was just like taking his time or whatever. But again, out of all 4 seasons, this is my second favorite. It's definitely up there with season 1, but I just don't know how anybody can put it in front of season 1. I mean, that was the one that kicked it all off. It was a little bit more heartfelt because they were kids, and I really do like that kid element. I grew up an adventurous kid. I grew up loving the Goonies. I love those, you know, fucking little kid adventures. No, I don't like that now. I don't like little kid adventures. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, it did have very Freddy Krueger's vibes. It had Nightmare on Elm Street vibes. It was a callback to a Halloween, obviously, especially in the finale when Vecna falls out of the window and there's no body there. There were a lot of callbacks to a lot of different horror elements in horror movies. And Joe and Kitty are the best. I appreciate that, Crayon, dude. I do. But yes, so like I said, overall, it was good to have an 11 back, have her powers back. Yeah. We're going to definitely get more, I think, in season 5. What else I want to say? I can't get enough of Steve, man. Steve's still my favorite character. He's the best, yeah. And I'm like, and I was saying to myself, the whole finale, I'm like, you fucking kill Steve, I'll fucking hate this season. I'll hate it. Mm-hmm. Because again, like I really did miss for the surrogate that Eddie became, I still miss the dynamic between Dustin and Steve. And I enjoyed their little interactions, you know? And in fact, I even enjoyed the way Steve got a little jealous of Eddie, you know? Yeah, I'm glad the whole Papa story is dead too. It's about time. Because, I mean, we thought he was killed off by a Demogorgon. What was that, season 1, season 2? When was that? I can't remember, but
in between all of these, you know, it's a lot to remember.
Well, yeah, especially since season 1 was like, when did that come out? 1998? Yo, Joe, what's up, Mr. E? What's up, guys? Glad everybody's in the chat. Yeah, so I'm trying to go over my positives and negatives. There were definitely more positives than there were negatives. Love that Hopper's back. Hopper's probably my favorite character. Steve is probably a close second. But Hopper, ever since season 1, man, always been my favorite. David Harbour is a great actor, and I love Hopper. But and I really hope they seem to be kissing a little bit, right? I'm hoping him and Joyce finally get together. So it was good. And then, of course, at the end, when they're all together again, you know, and Will's getting the tingling in his neck, and he knows that something's coming, and he's still alive. And I think he's still connected to Will very much so from the very first season. Mm-hmm. I would. No, Mr. E, it was a really look. This one, and I was just saying it. This last season was very long, but rightfully so. We had a 3-year break in between seasons, and there was a lot of story to tell. I was just not used to this hour-long, sometimes hour and a half. One episode was almost 2.5 hours. Wasn't quite used to that format. It kind of took me out a little bit. You know, when it goes to show, sometimes there's like that happy medium. Like we complained with Obi-Wan, like it needed to be longer, man. We needed to be longer. Even Thor: Love and Thunder was just under 2 hours. It needed to be longer. There's certain things that need to be long to flesh out a story, and then there's things that are just too fucking long. And maybe I'm in the minority because for the most part, nobody's really complaining about that. But for me, the length of the episodes took me out of it just a little bit. But I do appreciate the very long finale. I do. All right. Really? I did not know that. Well, they can definitely get away with it because the kids do look like they're in their 20s. And I know the actor that plays Steve, I think, is like in his early 20s. 11's 18, so she's young. But Nancy's in her early mid 20s, maybe 24. I think the guy that plays Jonathan Byers, he's also older. So they can definitely get away with it. But I did not know that. I did not know there was going to be a 10-year jump. Did you know that?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. And no, I even said that like from the very get-go of this season, when you had this character. Well, first of all, you didn't know who was doing it at the time, but when you just see these bodies floating in the air, their eyes going black, and then you see like their arms and legs just literally bending backwards. That was that was tough to watch.
Mhm.
It was scary. And that's why, and that was the other, and now I was telling you, and I was telling somebody else, the horror element is definitely what kept me loving this season even more than I might have.
Yeah.
All right, one more quick one, and then I want to know what you thought of the season. That's what I've heard, not confirmed, but it would be interesting if it is. Yeah, I agree. 10 years is a big jump, though.
That is a very big jump.
I
Yeah.
don't know if it's going to be 10 years because it literally looks like they might even leave off from exactly where the season left off because they're all standing there awaiting like this the darkness and something coming, something happening. So it wouldn't make sense for a jump unless they tell you, unless they do flashbacks of what happened. I don't know. Probably not. Because also too, then that would mean they would have to tell you what happened to Max right away. Because then if not, she's in a 10-year coma. Which I don't know. We'll get into what you think of what's happening with Max in a little bit. All right. So enough of me babbling. What did you think of this season?
So unlike you, I have very little negatives. So this is probably, aside from last season, which I was a huge fan of, I think this is probably my favorite season. Okay.
Oh,
And, the first
okay.
one's great, but this one was my favorite season, and I did enjoy the long times in
You're
it.
not the only one. No, you're not the only one. Like I said, I know I'm in the minority when I say that. Um, it's just my attention span lately has been really bad. So, especially with work and whatever, and sometimes, and that's another thing too, and that's why I kind of I want to do a rewatch
Mhm.
because I want to give it another chance because there were a couple of times where I had to pause a lot because I had to answer my phone for work and stuff. So that can also take you out. I
Yeah,
do acknowledge that
I get it.
because as I'm a huge fan of the season, I mean of this series. So for me to not get what everybody else seems to be getting bothers me.
Yeah. No, I
It
I totally
does.
get it. I get it. But I think what I am a big fan of is you like you. I'm a huge horror fan,
Yeah.
so I thought that because of that, I was just really gung ho about this season.
Hmm.
It had everything that I enjoyed in horror when I was a young child, the Freddy Krueger elements and all of the slasher films. He embodied all of that, and I
Yeah.
thought it was amazing. And when you have, the voice of Freddy Krueger saying Nancy, it just sends like chills down you're just like, wow, that just takes you back. So it just had all of these elements that just hits you if you're a big campy horror fan from the 80s. And also, the person who does the effects for that for him was the one who did the Ice King for Game of Thrones. He looked just like him. So it was really awesome. You could see it in his face too.
I will say that the effects for this show and Netflix, especially for Netflix, most show. I mean, I actually tried watching. I don't know if you tried watching it because it just dropped today, the new Resident Evil series. I watched like maybe 15 minutes of it and I shut it off. I'm not saying it's bad. It's only 8 episodes. Maybe I'll give it another chance. But this graphics, the CGI was horrible. But no, they've done a really good job.
Right,
And
right.
like you said, the makeup work on Vecna
Hmm.
looked amazing. It
Right,
did.
right.
I did not know that.
Yes.
I did not think to call up the number on the pizza van. But yeah, I agree. The whole team that makes the show makes it hard not to watch, and I agree. And he bought a Hellfire Club tee. That's actually awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, again, and that's another thing that I like. It has these like nerdy elements to it, and like I love Steve. Steve is my favorite character of Stranger Things. But Eddie, something about Eddie, like I feel like there's a piece of Eddie in all of us, and Eddie resonated with me. And I just he captivated me during the whole Stranger Things season. And his relationship with Dustin, to me, I thought was amazing. And that kept me so engaged throughout the whole entire season. So when he died, it impacted me greater than you. I was like, damn, I need to send Netflix my therapy bill. Like they
Yeah,
could have.
no, I loved his I did love his chemistry with Dustin and the way he treated Dustin, and basically said, look, you're the future of this.
Yes.
You guys are the future of this.
Yes.
But
So
hold on. I never saw Stranger Things. I jumped a bit. I will go back for season 5. Point is, I enjoyed this season. Max and Eddie were my favorite characters. So
yes.
yeah.
And that's another thing. So I'm going to recap. So I wasn't like on the Max bandwagon like a lot of people were. This episode made me a big fan of Max.
I mean, it's the season.
Yeah, or this season. Yes.
Yeah. No, you're right. I'm same.
Huge fan of Max. Like I loved how she evolved. I love seeing like this season captured a lot of things. It captured the whole depression. It brought a lot of things to the forefront that people can resonate with, and dealing with demons and things like that. So I think that this season resonated with me a little bit more than all other seasons. You know what I mean?
Also, the question of whether she wanted her brother to die,
right? So
which was great.
Yeah, so there was a lot of things I really did enjoy about this season, a lot more than other season. Again, the visual effects. I like that they broke up the children. We're so used to seeing them all together and having this whole thing. So I like that there was like a maturity aspect to all of them where they broke them out and they kind of did different things with them. So we got to see different things in different layers. So we saw them in reality and upside down. So it was, what are we going to do with these kids? They need to grow and resonate and do different things for each. And we got to see that. So what's going to happen with them in season 5? We got to see these characters kind of evolve, break out, and do different things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of seeing them in the Goonies type of characters. Like you like that. I kind of didn't. It was getting old.
It gets stale. And I'm okay with them splitting it up. I'm assuming season 5, they intend to now have them as the group. I agree with you. Split them up, have them have some arcs, have them have some character development and maturity, and then like do their own thing.
Yeah.
Well, in smaller groups because they were still with people, and then come together at the end. And I do completely agree. And I do want to shout out to Listener Jim on this part, because not only did he steal the second part, but that Master of Puppets guitar solo that he does. That was great. And we knew it was coming. I just didn't know the song that he was going to be playing. You knew that he was going to be doing something with the guitar. But that was awesome.
When he was like, "This is for Chrissy," and you saw Dustin, the whole scene.
It was great.
Epic.
Yeah.
And that's the use of music. Their use of music is great. You had the Police in one season, but the use of music has always been on par. But this season, you had Kate Bush, Journey, and Metallica. And I was
just like, They literally put Kate Bush back on the map.
Yeah.
And Master of Puppets. They're getting a newer generation to know who Metallica and Master of Puppets is.
Right. So yes, unlike you, I have 0 negatives. It's probably
my negatives are small. And again, I'm trying to correct some of the negatives I'm saying, because I do want to give the season more benefit of the doubt because of the attention that I wasn't able to give it. And my attention span as of late.
Yeah,
so
and I also like, finally, there's a full circle understanding of what all this crap is about. We see Vecna, and then they have a whole story about him when he was a kid.
Here's my question, though. I do want to. I saved this question for you because I didn't save it specifically for you, but I do have a question for you and anybody in the comments. But let me just catch up really quick. I was saying, F this show, F this company for both outcomes of the characters. It made the whole it made the whole scene, and he really plays the guitar, so that was cool. Here's my question. So we see what number 1 does, right? We finally see number 1 because we've heard about him, so we know who number 1 is, and we've seen what he's become. And we've seen what he did to all the other kids in the facility. So who are those kids that she's seen in season 1 or 2? Again, it's been so long, but she was in a group with other numbers. Remember? 11 was with her own kind. well, not in her own kind, with other kids that she meets up, and she realizes that they're from the facility as well. She remembered them from the Rainbow Room.
Oh, you mean in season 3 with the 80s?
That was season 3?
Was that the 80s one, right?
Maybe it was the 80s. Whatever. They were I remember there was a part in a van, right? They were being chased by the cops. She was able to manipulate them to thinking that the fucking tunnel falls on them, but it never really does, or something like that. I forgot what her powers were.
Yeah,
and then 11 turns against them because she realizes they're bad. Anyway, there was a group of kids from the facility. Did number 1 not kill all of them?
Hold on. Season 5 is supposed to reintroduce some of these characters. That's what I did read.
Oh.
Yeah. So season 5 is supposed to reintroduce. I'm not sure if it's number 9. It's supposed to reintroduce some of these killers.
Yeah, because then that's who I'm talking about. Okay, so he doesn't kill everybody in the facility then, obviously, right?
Apparently.
Okay. Because it made it look like he wiped everybody out except for 11.
From what I was reading, season 5 is supposed to reintroduce some of these kids from the facilities. I'm not sure. I think it was the ones who bullied her. There was some, yeah.
I just remember she was on the run at one point in one of the seasons. I don't think it was as early as season 3. I'm pretty sure it was earlier than that. I mean, as recent as season 3.
There's such a gap between.
I know, but I feel like it's more. I don't think it's season 2 either. Maybe it was season 1. I don't know. Guys, help us out in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. There was a season. There was like an episode or 2 where 11 comes in contact with other girls and boys from her facility that are up to no good. And they're running from the cops. So I just assumed number 1 kills all the kids, but then I remember, no, wait, there were others that must have gotten out. So also somebody said that they were glad Papa's finally gone. You agree?
Papa's not gone.
Papa's dead?
I don't think Papa's dead.
He was shot through the chest. There's no way that guy lived.
It doesn't matter. I don't think he's dead.
He better be dead.
I hope he's dead, but I don't think he's dead.
It was only 1? I thought there was more than 1. I thought it was a group of them. Or was there a group and she was leading them?
I think there was like 1 or 2, and I think someone's going to be reintroduced.
But I think you're right. I think it was number 9.
Yeah.
I think that sounds right. That sounds wrong, but it sounds right. I don't know.
So wrong. It's so right.
Hold on. I feel like, yeah, she was all right. She was leading them. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, no, that's why, that was just the one girl with her in the Rainbow Room. The others were just thugs. Okay. All right. Well, thanks. There we go. So now, guys, is she, hold on. Is she still at large? I forgot how her, did they just part ways? Because she wasn't ever killed off. So maybe that's what you're talking about, right? They're just reintroducing her?
All I was reading, I can't remember. And you guys forgive me. I don't remember any of these seasons.
Yeah, she tried to get 11 to stay. All right, so they just parted ways. Okay.
Yeah. All I know is when I was reading, there is supposed to be a character from this.
She's still large. No,
yeah,
she's still at large.
Introduced into season 5 from what I
okay, know. That makes sense.
Confirmed, yeah.
Now, do you think in order to defeat Vecna, 11 is going to have to sacrifice herself? Because she's the one that created him.
No.
No?
No.
All right. I'm hoping not.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because now that I know that she's still at large and whatever, they're probably going to team up.
Probably.
That would make sense.
I think that they're like, from all these theories and stuff, I do think that like there's a whole Dungeons and Dragons theme happening in the background, and it's gonna play a huge.
Oh yeah. Now they were even saying that they were talking about Will's drawing and how Will's drawing is actually a Dungeons and Dragons character, which might come into play. They're also saying that 11 might be flying now by season 5. She might be that strong and that powerful. With Mike saying, foreshadowing that she's her superhero, she can fly, she can move mountains, whether that was meant to be metaphorically or not, but she might actually start flying. So, and maybe Will's going to develop a power, or I don't know about that. I think Max is more of a vessel.
I think Max will. I think that Vecna will utilize her, so she'll develop something. Like, she's blind now.
I know. I thought I was under the impression, and again, I'm not getting this from anywhere, only just my own interpretation, that he was literally using her as a vessel. Like, she's brain dead. She's gone. Now, I don't think I was hoping they're going to return. I mean, it's just going to suck.
I don't think she's brain dead. I think he's just holding all of her memories and things.
Yeah, because when 11 went in there, even though they cut, remember, they did cut away from that, and they fast forwarded, right? But when 11 went in her mind, it was completely empty.
Because he's got her memories. He's holding all of. That's what he does.
Yes.
Yes, and he even has bat tattoos on his arms.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Will already has a power, but a small one.
I think he does. I think he does. He can.
I know, but I have a dirty mind, so I just read that sexually. That's wrong. I know it's wrong. I don't know why. I'm not saying that they meant it that way. He does have a power, though. He can sense when whatever it is around.
Yeah.
He can sense it.
Yeah.
So he probably does have a power.
Yeah.
But I don't know about Max. Like, how would Max develop a power from that?
Why wouldn't she? I don't think it's like a direct power. I just think that he's going to utilize Max. He's connected to her.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And connected to Will.
So.
Okay. It's all right. I didn't think so. That's just me. Just my mind.
What's Joe?
That's just me. Yeah, no. So what is Will's power then? Besides being able to what do you call it? Sense when sense things. He can feel Vecna or whatever it is. He can feel them.
Yeah, he can feel it.
I see. Well, I mean, they kind of teased that in at the end of season 1. Remember, where he was just staring at the end of the season. He was staring into the bathroom sink. I mean, staring into the sink, but also into the mirror. And I think, doesn't he kind of vomit something in black? I thought they were teasing that he was going to go bad.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. He can sense Vecna. He can sense the other side.
Yeah.
The upside down. He can sense when they're coming.
Yeah.
That's why they kept pulling him in, and every now, remember that season in season 2. All right, you want to get down, Kat? In season 2, when they're all playing in the arcade, and he literally is the only one that sees what's going on outside, and he can see everything. Like, he saw the mind flare, and he saw all the the dark red or whatever. Nobody else was able to see that. Yeah, and that actually could happen. I don't know if that's what they're gonna do, but that would suck that his friends would have to battle him, especially 11.
Yeah, because they're best friends right now.
Or Mike, because let's face it, we all know what Will was trying to tell him.
Yeah,
he was not saying stuff when he was talking. It had nothing to do with how 11 felt for him. It was how he felt for him, and I felt horrible in that scene. I did. I probably felt more in that scene. And again, I'm not saying anything about Eddie because I did tear up for Eddie too. But for some reason, that scene hit me. It hit me hard. And then Jonathan finally fucking snaps out of it and says, you know what? I'm going to be an older brother now. And I can see what's going on. And he's like, listen, I miss the way we used to talk. I miss the way you used to come talk to me. You can tell me anything. I don't care. And they're obviously tackling what it was like back then. I mean, even still now, but more so back then, coming out or whatever. And him basically telling them, I know. Just tell me. Talk to me. Yeah. I'm not going to judge you, and I'm not going to turn my back on you. I'm here for you. Yeah. And he needed that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He did, because he started crying, and that's where I felt it.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaking scene.
Yeah.
I think there were characters that Netflix didn't do justice for this season until, it was the whole season, and all of a sudden it was right there. That's where, you know what I mean? It's why did it take all season for you to just, snap characters like Jonathan and Will out of it? You know what I mean? These were big characters for how many seasons? And it's You
I
push
mean, Will was pretty much
you know what I
Will
mean?
was the main objective of season 1. I mean, he was what the story was wrapped around,
Right.
and then the kids had to help him.
Right.
So, and then obviously you had Jonathan and Joyce trying to team up, and that's his brother and that's her son. So yeah, there was a lot of things. But another thing, Mike's family, Mike and Nancy's family, like pretty much pushed, and like the dad. I love how the dad, like how calm the dad is. Like literally, there's the apocalypse outside. The mom's packing boxes for the kids for Goodwill, and whatever, just Goodwill in general. And the dad's like, like everybody's like, it was just so weird how laxed he was and just calm about it.
Yeah, that's another character. It's like you take a character like Mike and you just push him back to the forefront. Like I never despised a character like Mike this much this season.
Mike was my favorite character going into season 3. Like him and 11, and obviously not counting Steve and Hopper, obviously, but I didn't despise him this season, but I cared about him the least.
That's what I'm saying.
Did.
Him and like I'm not a big fan. Nancy just. I was like, you could have taken Mike and Nancy instead of Eddie. Like that was wrong.
Well, I did like when Nancy and what's her face, what's the other girl's name? The one that is always with Steve.
Robin. I adore Robin.
But
If they would have taken Robin, it would have.
That scene when Robin and Nancy go to the psych ward or wherever they go to meet.
That was the scene was all Robin.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Robin's great. I love Robin.
Mm-hmm. It's because there's a dynamic. There's characters that have dynamics with other characters you fall in love with. Nancy doesn't have a dynamic with a character that I fall in love with. It's like, who does she have a dynamic with a character that you fall in love with?
You know what else was a good scene too? You know what another scene that got me choked up was when Dustin tells, it's Eddie's uncle, right? It's not his father, right?
It's
when he tells Eddie's uncle, not only that he died, but how he died, saving everybody.
And that's another thing that's upsetting is they got to make that right. The whole town thinks like this guy who dies like pretty much a hero is a piece of shit. So
many theories that the dad is. Are you talking about Mike's dad? Mike's dad's going to be a hero? I mean, that would be because they did nothing with his character. Yeah, not Nancy. Love Nancy, Robin, girl power. I think your gripe with Nancy was more so geared into this season specifically.
This season specifically,
yeah.
Yes, because it was the the whole. It was just a whole. I don't like that. It's like she's with somebody, she's playing Steve, she's the whole she's got no dynamic with a specific character. She's like all over the place kind of.
You know what the first thing I thought of though, and I don't know if this is true because I really don't pay attention to shit like that, but her and Jonathan are dating in real life, right? Aren't they?
I believe so, or they're very awkward.
But here's the thing I thought of immediately was there trouble in real life. And they wrote them apart on purpose because they were very cold to each other, right? He doesn't want to go to the same college. They the way they're talking about each other, you can see that she's starting to ignite something and there's something still there with Steve. So I felt like the writers were trying to push that and pushing Jonathan and Nancy further and further apart. I mean, they weren't even together at one point, for the most part of the season. So that was the first thing I thought of. Did the writers do that on purpose because of stuff that maybe they're dealing with in their personal life? Maybe they're not together anymore. I don't know if that's the case. I'm literally just making that up.
But then that would just feel forced. But you also another thing that I did enjoy. Did you
oh yeah. No, I do. Hold on. I do agree with Listen to Jim. You got to give her at least that.
No, that's when she redeemed it for me. But that was towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
So
what did you think of them being choked for like 45 minutes though? Like at what point do you die?
Does it? I mean, but was it 45 minutes or was it 45 minutes to us?
Well, it was definitely 45. It was definitely like 4 hours for us. But no, if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't for 45 minutes, but you could choke somebody for 45 seconds to kill them. They were like gasping for air for a very long time in that Vine scene.
Yeah, I wasn't. It's movie magic. I don't know.
I
Maybe
know.
I found it a little odd. Yeah.
I'm only kidding. But yeah, so that was the scene. That was the callback of the shotgun scene when she shoots. Well, first of all, she fucking saws it off. She makes a sawed off shotgun. But when she's fucking going like Arnold Schwarzenegger from Terminator, or wait, no, actually, I think that's Linda Hamilton.
It was
just go Linda Hamilton.
It was a callback to Linda Hamilton. Yeah.
Go Linda Hamilton in Terminator. And blowing Vecna out the window, but then you get the callback, like I said, to Halloween when Michael Myers falls out the window or falls off the patio and his body is no longer there. So
Yeah, no,
thought that was really cool.
That was definitely a badass scene. Like she redeemed herself there. I do like, what I also really enjoyed it. I wanted to bring out, how we're all, we're huge Disney fans. We're like, oh, but and like Star Wars, and they use a lot of deep
Star Wars. I hate Star Wars. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh,
Don't mind the Darth Vader right behind me.
Not the Darth Vader, but like, we're all like used to all the deep fake. What about 11's space on a tiny little body? That was like really cool.
It didn't look bad at all.
It did not.
No, I mean, you could tell because we know.
Of course.
But they did a really good job at de-aging 11.
Yeah, they did. I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. I did like that, Jim. Scenes where Vecna showed Nancy what his plans were really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I like that. But that's what I was talking about. That's exactly what. So Jim kind of brought back what I was trying to mention earlier, where there were things where Vecna didn't have to elaborate. And it's like the cliche villain thing to do is like talk about what you're about to do before, just do it, But no, but it was a great scene though. It was a great scene.
Yeah.
I love the scene where Max hides in that memory of her and Lucas at the snow dance, whatever it was called. Was it snow? What was
Snowball, the snowball.
Snowball?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But call back to Carrie. That was literally out of Carrie, out of the movie Carrie with all the red and then the blood from balloons. That was definitely a callback to Carrie. So that was really good. Just basically showing you that she couldn't hide from anything. But and like I said, this was easily the most scariest season that we've gotten.
Yes.
And I loved it for it. When we first started getting the deaths that they were talking about earlier in the chat, I was like, holy shit, this is going to be a good season. Like they're not holding back. They're doing whatever. I mean, they fucking killed kids off in the very first episode. There had to be there was the graphics on the what do you call it? Wasn't there a warning graphic that something
that
might
was
be?
That was for
It was Obi-Wan.
The school bullying and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that was also in Obi-Wan too.
Yeah.
The Billy callback was nice, yes. And again, I can't reiterate enough that scene where she basically confesses to sort of wanting her brother dead was a very strong scene with Max.
Yeah.
Even you know what though too? It was a surprise character. I mean, she was sassy in the other seasons too.
Oh, I adore her. I think
Lucas's sister.
His sister.
She was great.
Lady Applejack.
Yeah. Oh, she was great. I was like, holy shit. Well, what she had to do, what they basically did was she replaced Lucas in a big part of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The football player when he was just like, or the basketball player.
What are you doing?
The basketball player when he was just like towards it, like it's like a blink if you like.
What was he doing? What?
You'll miss it.
What?
Towards the end, like the last season, the one who wanted to kill Eddie. And
yeah.
Justin and everything.
The one that was beating the shit out of Lucas.
Yeah, but like blink if you miss it, just like sliced right in half.
Oh no! Yeah, when the ground opened up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like dying. I was like, wait, what? What did he just get sliced in half?
The letters will be interesting. Oh, yes. The ones that Max wrote? Yeah. She wrote a letter to everybody, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, yeah, so, at the very beginning of the season, I had no idea what the hell was going on. I didn't know what was going on with that girl that originally dies.
And you were like, who's this guy? Why now? What is this? And then,
No, I'm not talking about the origin of Vecna. I was more like, because, yeah, I did have that question. And I think a lot of people ask that question because if he's supposed to be, if you come to find out that he's literally, I guess, like I don't want to say the start of the Upside Down, but he's the start of pretty much everything. But then, like, where was he the whole time? But now after watching part 2 that he was literally, he took control over the Mind Flayer. Like he is control of all of it. So he was always there. But
and he couldn't do all of this until she lost her powers.
Right. Oh, what was I? That's true. Yeah. She lost the power. So that's now. She lost her powers fighting one of those things, right, in the mall.
Towards the end of last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and Billy was involved.
Right, but wasn't Billy just an extension of Vecna?
I guess you can call him Vecna now.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, so if whatever they were attacked by in the last season was an extension of Vecna, so Vecna gained her powers.
I guess so. Yeah.
That's an interesting theory. I think Will turns into the Mind Flayer, or the Mind Flayer possesses him. I don't know. I don't know. We can theorize all night. I have no idea. No, but I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah. So in the very beginning of the season, I had no idea what the hell was going on. Like, the girl was crying in the bathroom and she was seeing shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because at first, when she came out of the therapist or whatever they were talking to in the school, and she was crying, I'm like, all right, well, is her boyfriend like beating her? Like, what's going on? Like what's, and then you finally find out that she just needed to buy drugs from Eddie.
Yes, that was it.
That was it. No, that was actually a really good scene though too, of them in the woods. And he's like, we actually knew each other, and what was the fuck? I'm pissed off now because it was actually a really cool name of a band. What was the name of the band he was in?
Oh God, I can't remember that.
I know everybody in the chat knows.
Yeah, probably everybody in the chat knows except us.
Fuck. Something with a coffin, right? Wasn't it like something coffin? No.
I don't remember.
Corpse? No. Yeah. No, she lost her powers fighting the Mind Flayer, but what I was thinking is if she lost it through the Mind Flayer, isn't the Mind Flayer an extension of Vecna or whatever? I don't know what I'm saying. But basically, we can start to wrap this up because, well, no. Do you have any? Is there any other theories that you have that's going to happen in season 5? Anything else you want to say about this season?
No,
besides, I need to rewatch it.
You need to rewatch it and keep your butt in the seat. Don't answer calls.
But what if I float and I need Kate Bush to bring me back down?
Yeah. I think that season 5 is great, and I hope that Eddie comes back. I think that would be a win.
But then he'd have to come back as a vampire.
Yeah, and I hope he does.
I don't want him back as a vampire.
He should come back.
I don't think they're that kind of bats. I think those are just like demon bats. I don't think it works the same way.
I think he should come back as a vampire.
Oh no, Eddie died a heroic death. He's not coming back.
I think that anything that happened in the Upside Down, if 11 makes all of this better, should just come back to life
and be normal.
To be normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It should just get erased. Everything should just come back to life.
She could be a normal person, and then she can just do the hand thing.
just do the hand thing where nothing happens.
Yeah, that was funny. They're all just laughing at her because you're expecting something to happen when she did that.
Those were brutal scenes to watch, by the way, in the beginning.
When she hits her over the head with the skate, like what the fuck?
That one I was cool with.
How did she not go to jail?
It is what it is.
That was the 80s.
Yeah, it was the 80s.
Did you ever go to by the way, and we're gonna age ourselves here. Did you ever go to one of those?
Yes.
Roller skating rink?
Yes.
For a party? Because I was always there for parties. We always had, that's what we did back in the like mid to late 80s.
Cool.
Yeah, you had parties, like kids' parties. You went to friends' parties. They would always thrown
school trips. They would make you go together.
No, I never went in on a school trip. It was always somebody's party that somebody got thrown. It was either the bowling alley or a rolling rink.
Catholic school, though, even like all through.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I went to public school in New York too.
Catholic school all the way through.
Yeah, so us public school kids in New York, we did that.
No, roller rinks were birthdays, and so were bowling alleys. That's where we went for birthdays.
We did a lot of ice skating too in public school.
I've never been on a pair of ice skates before in my life.
Oh yeah.
I know. All right, guys. We're going to end the stream here. Our next stream, which is scheduled for Sunday, hopefully at the moment, I got nothing's planned for work. So that's where we're going to be talking about the season 3 of The Boys. I can't wait to talk about that because, guys, if you're in the chat and you're a fan of The Boys as well, if you're not, I'm sorry. But if you're a fan of The Boys, come watch that stream and if you haven't watched it, watch The Boys because The Boys is amazing. On Amazon Prime. I have no affiliation. I'm not getting paid to say that. But yeah, The Boys is really good. So we'll talk about that. And then you haven't seen Thor yet, have you?
No, I'm gonna go though. My friend and I talked about going to see it together.
Go. Alan wants to see your shirt. Oh, dude, what the fuck?
What?
You were wearing that the whole time. I had no idea what you were wearing.
Yeah.
Wow, that was awesome. I wasn't paying attention to your shirt. I was looking at your face. I'm trying to be. I'm always told, no, my eyes are down. My eyes are up here. No, but that is actually a really awesome shirt. When did you get it?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Where did you get that?
I got it on Amazon Prime.
Nice. Also, again, not affiliated with Amazon.
Not affiliated with
now we look like we're partner. We have a partnership with Amazon. Watch The Boys. Buy their shirts. Well, I mean, it's Stranger Things shirts. Awesome shirt. I agree. And I wish sucks that it took me the whole stream to figure out what you were wearing. I thought that said Eddie Munster.
No, Eddie.
No, I'm teasing. I didn't even know. I didn't even say no. It said Eddie. That's an awesome shirt. I'm over here watching, wearing a fucking Mandalorian shirt. It's the closest thing. All right, guys. Hope everyone enjoys their upcoming weekend. Thank you for everybody in the chat. I do appreciate it. Again, it always makes the streams that much more enjoyable and that much more engaging. You know, and if you're not a subscriber, please go do so. Click that like button. It helps out the channel and the stream. And I'll see you everybody on Sunday. Hopefully we should be good to go. And I know it's scheduled for 3:00, but if you want to go early and I got nothing going on that day, well, we can make it for like 1 if you want.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Again, thanks for everybody in the live chat, and we'll see everybody really soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.